Okay, here we go. All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Here we go. What's the phrase that you hear every day? Hey, phrase. What's the phrase that you hear every day? Hey, phrase. What's the phrase that you hear every day? Hey, phrase. What's the phrase that you hear?
Done it.
Tune in, yeah, you gotta tune in. Sarah Fraser on the mic and she about to begin. The co-host with the most, Paul Warren looking fleek. Take it from me, you should be listening. Live from the nation's cap, pop culture at its best. No need a second guess, separated from the rest. Entertaining nonetheless, many topics to address. Sarah, she's so glamorous, the #1 hostess.
Woo! You guys! Oh my God, I always yell right into the microphone. And our producer, AJ and Leslie, are like, stop yelling into the mic. We get so excited.
My ears.
I know. Welcome, everybody. If you are watching us on Facebook Live, we are here at the Hey Frase podcast with Paul Wharton. And I'm so glad you're here because a lot of people were very concerned that you weren't going to be here.
They were concerned.
I guess I need to work on marketing and maybe, what would you call that, brand release?
Maybe so. A little communication, goes a long way.
Yeah, apparently nobody understood where we were headed with this. So,
right. Including me.
Okay. Including
So we're going to get to the bottom of that today.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, and we're referencing on Monday. So Monday, and we'll just get into this here in a few minutes, but we'll talk Mervis and Waxing the City. But if you didn't miss it, on Monday, I basically started to say, hey, I really want the show to be congruent, right? And my goal has always been to have this show 5 days a week. I want it to be on many platforms. I loved radio. It was my first home, back, syndicating it back to radio and doing these other things, right? And in the year, we've tried a lot of things, and I'm like, okay, hey, let's try doing something consistent. I had these Mindful Mondays and all this stuff. But the branding, the messaging seemed to get, the delivery got lost in the messaging, I guess you could say. So
the delivery got lost in the messaging.
Or is it the message got lost in the delivery?
There you go.
Okay. That was it.
B.
So we're going to get into that. Yeah. And then we have a couple other stories that we have to address, including the pop singer who's now getting divorced because of herpes.
Okay.
Also, I can't believe this. I feel like this is terrible for people, but people have been getting nose jobs, Paul, because they take selfies. They don't like their faces. All right. So they see their face on a selfie and they're like, this doesn't look good. Maybe I should get plastic surgery. And now an engineer has come forward and is basically saying, if you had plastic surgery because of a selfie, you totally fucked up.
I don't know that there's anybody getting a nose job based solely on the way they look in a selfie.
You don't believe that at all?
I don't really believe that.
Really?
I think people that get nose jobs have probably always felt that way. They've been looking at themselves forever. We all have time in the mirror. I talk about it in my book. I tell people how to use a mirror.
So you think that it's many more things than just they take selfies or they see themselves in a picture? You think it's...
Yeah. I don't think you look at yourself, oh, my God, call Leftensteinberg or whatever, or Dr. Ruff.
Right,
I know somebody, I'm not being racist. I know Leftenstein and Berg, so don't even try it.
Don't even try it.
Yeah.
And then also, too, I want to know how you feel about this, but this article is getting a ton of attention, and this woman came out, and she said that you should not be with a man. If you are dating a guy, if you are married to a man, and he does not have female friends, that is a major red flag.
Okay.
Do you think that's true? You think you can, because this is the age-old question and debate. Can you be friends, just platonic, with someone of the opposite sex?
Well, you're asking a gay man, so of course I can. But, I think it's odd that if a straight man in a relationship with a woman couldn't have a female friend.
Okay, thank you.
That would really be a red flag to me. It would, because you best believe he's out meeting some ladies somewhere.
Right.
I would like to be a witness to how he engages with those women, what they do together, just from the corner.
Okay, because this article did make me think. Dan has a female friend that he's pretty close with.
They're fucking. I'm sorry, Dan. I'm sorry. Boy code out the window. Boy code out the window.
So, look, if you're watching on our Facebook Live, Facebook Live, we are right now streaming on Sarah Fraser page. You can go to it on Facebook. Just hit pages. You'll see us both there. You can leave a comment. Do you think that straight men, should have female friends? Is that healthy or not? Or is that a red flag? And then we'll get to your answers.
People who need people.
But, okay, wait a minute. But then you're kind of saying that you think it's a little suspect.
No. I was just trying.
You're just getting
I was just trying to ruffle your feathers a little bit. No, I think it's normal.
Okay, you do. So you think it's perfectly fine.
Yeah. If that's the case, gay men wouldn't be friends with other gay men. Some you fuck, some are just your friends.
I agree with that, but I'm trying to think of the male friendships that I have, and did any of them start a little bit of like, oh, maybe this guy's attractive? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
do
you
friendships
do that
start that way?
sometimes, even, gay men to other gay men. Sometimes it kind of gets into the line becomes a little bit indistinguishable. Friend or lover, lover for the night, friend for life,
Right.
Yeah,
right. Sometimes
every now and again, but no, I do believe that straight people can be friends. Like I know my sister has great male friends.
Okay, and I got to think about this one. So anyway, you can leave us a comment on our Facebook page if you are watching right now. We're going to read those comments and shout outs, and if you have any other questions for Paul or me, you can leave those at the end. A couple things we have to talk to you about Waxing the City.
Yeah.
We're having a big booze bikini back wax party at Waxing the City in Alexandria, Virginia tomorrow night.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
5 to 7:30 p.m. 50% off any of your first waxing treatments. Book your appointment tomorrow night. Tell them, hey, Frage, Paul Wharton sent you. And even if you don't come tomorrow night for a wax, you just come for the margaritas, you could get a wax at another time. 50%
How you looking
off.
down there?
I got it waxed.
You got that thing together?
Well, I don't know if it's ever together. But I did want to tell you, and this is going to be tomorrow night is going to be amazing because we have a guy who emailed us who says that he is going to get a manzillion live on Facebook, on our Facebook page tomorrow night, and that he is so well endowed that we should not even show his unit because Facebook would shut down.
I'll be the judge of that.
You don't think he's going to have a big package?
I'll be the judge of that.
I think he's going to be enormous. He says he's got a huge dick, and he says that when we see it, we're just going to be like blown away.
First of all, I would run. I don't really want a huge. I mean, I want equivalent to what I have, which is very nice. It's nobody's ever complained. People give me great compliments, and I'm happy with it. But I mean,
I do think there's such a thing as too big. I mean,
Yeah.
I have seen penises that are so big, you're like, that doesn't seem comfortable.
in person or in video?
Well, I've been with 2 large penises in my lifetime, right? And one of them was borderline of like, this would be hard to give a blowjob to.
Ooh.
Like, it's just too much. You know what I mean? There's only so much your jaws can take.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a talker like I am.
Yeah.
They're worn out at the end of the night.
That's it. I've done all I can do.
So join us tomorrow night. We're going to have giveaways, waxing gift cards. We're going to be there. Come say hi to Paul. You're going to bring some books to sell too?
Heck yeah. Why not?
Books for sale, all that good stuff. Waxing the City, Alexandria, tomorrow night, 5 p.m. More details on heyfrage.com. Also, Mervis Diamond. We love them. We work with Mervis. If you're in the market for an engagement ring, great piece of jewelry, a push gift, or maybe just a gift to treat yourself, because
I love it.
that's what we're all about. Some diamond bangles. Go in and see them. MervisDiamond.com is their website. They have 3 locations: Rockville, K Street, downtown Northwest D.C.,
Yeah.
also in Tyson's Corner, Virginia.
That's it.
And today, actually, we're going to be putting up on heyfrage.com a video with the 5 biggest engagement ring trends of 2018, according to Mervis. So be looking for that.
That's right. You feel no pressure to get engaged. In all this ring talk and all of this,
I want
you're
to get
still cool.
engaged. Like,
You do.
I really do. This is the first time in my life. I tell everybody, Dan and I have been together over 5 years. It took me 4 years to fall in love with him. And now I really want to marry him.
Don't tell too many people that. Damn.
Oh, I just told thousands. Okay.
I mean, my goodness. Okay, how's he feel about that? His manhood still good?
Yeah, you know what? That's the thing I love about him is like I tell him everything, and he's always
He's just
okay
like,
with
you're
that.
fucking crazy, but I love you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he really does. He's stuck around for a lot.
He really has.
Yeah, I know. The least I can do is marry him.
I'm your work husband, and we're going through it. But I'm still here.
I have 2 really amazing men in my life.
You do.
And Dan.
Right.
Well, and I have to say my brother's pretty cool, but I don't have to
He
live
is
with
very
him.
cool. He's very cool.
He puts up with my crazy from afar, so that's like a different afar. So anyway, you need to know that. Look, I do want to talk about and address on Monday. So Monday, and you and I have been having this conversation, although I haven't been communicating very well, so I apologize for that. But over the past year, I have, and we've only had like 2 kind of moments.
Okay.
That we've talked about like on the podcast, the book moment.
The book moment.
And then maybe that was just the same moment.
It was the one moment.
Right. Should you promote your book? We were at a meeting, and now in hindsight, it seems really stupid, honestly. Like, you should have promoted your book. But
so
anyway.
basically, we went to Bloomingdale's. Oh, well, whatever.
We went to Bloomingdale's,
yeah.
and the long and the short is this. I thought we were there to pitch this meeting that we were going to do this podcast event together, and then Paul was like, oh, by the way, we could also promote my book. I left. I was like offended at first, and then it was fine.
that is the short. But the slightly longer than that short is we were pitching a pop-up podcast, and they wanted to sell clothes. And they were like,
Right.
we don't feel like that's a good fit. So it was like crickets in the room. And, you know, you kind of threw it to me. And so I'm thinking, well, I've got this book coming out. And why don't we have the people pull their ideal outfit, and then we
Right.
will accessorize it, and they will have a completely pulled together outfit, and they'll probably buy all the things that they have. And they loved the idea, and I said I'd sign books afterwards, and they agreed that we would move forward. So I thought we were great because, you know, my experience in business is close the deal.
Right. Right.
And we talked about all this before, and, you know, you saw it a different way. We had a big fallout, but we talked through it. And we decided at that point that we were going to, although your dream was to have your own podcast, was to be a female boss, CEO, own talk show.
Right.
We agreed that the partnership was a really great idea.
Right.
So I committed to a year.
Right.
And I said, let's do that. And so what you see today is what we built over that year. And I do feel like there's a long way to go to get to the goal.
Right.
But I feel like what we built over that year has set this podcast up for success.
I agree. Yeah.
And what I know for sure is you can't bury your dream for longer than you're
A minute.
supposed to.
Yeah.
For
Right.
longer than a minute,
We
really.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can suppress it. You can think, okay, I want to do something else. So the issue that you and I have had just recently, which is an issue that we're working through with our listeners right now, is that dream keeps coming up, and there's no time like the present to pursue your dream.
Right.
And as your friend and someone that loves you, I will always support you and
Right.
support your dream of the Hey Phrase podcast. But I think that when I came in to this new beautiful studio a couple weeks ago, like I hadn't seen the new logo.
Right.
So, you know, you come in, your face was on the wall before, and then you come in, your name was there, and then it's not.
Right.
And so I just feel like that conversation, which I know is a tough conversation, but it's an essential conversation.
Right.
You know, so it was important to me rather than to say, oh, fuck it, because I didn't sign up to work for someone else.
Right.
However, as your friend, I am committed to supporting your dream.
Right.
So you come to me in the right way, and you involve me in some of those conversations, so then I can decide what I would like to do. I would like to be here as long as it feels good.
Right.
As long as you feel like it feels good, I feel like it feels good, and the listeners feel like we still have something good. I don't want to come in and be like, well, where do I sit? I punch my time clock. 'Cause
Right.
I'm not that kind of guy, because I've
Right.
already done all that in my
Right.
life.
We've been there, done that. Yeah.
I've been there, done that. So I feel like the time that we have put into this thing together, it just warranted a bit more respect in terms of just keeping me involved in the changes and in the process, so that I'm not finding out when everybody out there is finding out.
Right, because
Yeah.
there was confusion on Monday of me saying, like, and this is what you and I have been talking about, and this is the thing that keeps coming back up for me, right?
Yeah.
So the reason, and everybody knows this, but one of the things is when I left the Kane show like years ago, there was a lot going on there, but overwhelmingly the thing in my heart was like, I know I want my own show. Like, I've always wanted to be a talk show host, like, and I would just look at the show and I'm like, I can do this, you know? I don't know how it's going to take, it's a whole different beast when you're running a show, and I give Kane like so much credit for that. Like, it's a whole different animal than when you're co-hosting, because the host has to lead it, guide it, also react. There's a whole thing. But the real reason that I left that, and the reason that I left 107.3, was like, I want my own show. I want to bet on myself.
Absolutely.
But one of the things that's interesting about me, and I've learned, is I also attract really strong personalities.
Sure.
You are, Sammy is, Kane, everybody I worked with in the past, very strong personalities. And it's hard to do a show when everybody wants the same things. You have a great brand. You're a TV host. You're an author. So you want your own stage and platform, which you have, and you've done an incredible job in doing. And so in the past year, I've done things like, okay, well, I want to do mindfulness, and I want to do, I have really the whole true crime thing was, I was really interested in that story. The Savopoulos family, it's a tragic story where they have so much money and they look perfect to the outside, but once you get beyond the surface, there's just so much tragedy and things that don't work. And it's like, how can you appear to have it all but have nothing? So that was what I was fascinated by. And I've always been interested in people's stories, but I have always wanted to have my own show. And in doing that, you have to like make changes to it all the time. And you've got to be like, we have the most loyal, strong audience of anybody in DC.
Sure.
You guys
Absolutely.
listening have made this podcast what it is, But then it's like, okay, how do you start to attract people who don't know us? What do? You start giving the show some structure, and we start having segments that you're known for and people know you, and we start integrating AJ and Leslie, and people are represented from different backgrounds, and that's how people begin to go, oh, cool, these guys are funny, or they are informational, or they make me pissed off, or whatever. So those changes are hard for me to implement, because stepping into that role is tough, because I never want to do anything to hurt you. One of the things that I love about you, and that our partnership has worked so well, is like, you have always been super mature. You get business, you understand the bottom line of that, and you've also had your own brand. So we've both this year have built those, and then now I'm like, okay, you know what? I tried these things. I love mindfulness. I think it's more of a segment on Mondays than it is an entire show, because that's kind of who I am. But let's like brand this as one thing, make it 5 days a week, take it to the next level. And I did a real poor job of communicating that to you and to the audience, because people were very upset to think that you weren't going to be here on Wednesdays. You are always going to be here on Wednesdays, as long as, like you said, it feels good for you. It makes sense. I mean, same thing. Like, you have a lot of things in the works, like production-wise.
Absolutely.
And if that takes off, I mean, or, Renzo comes and marries you and you get rich, we also understand that you're only going to be Skyping in,
right,
occasionally while you're on a yacht.
Right.
So, so we both want that for each other always. And I always want the audience to know that. And I think, I think the delivery wasn't done well on Monday. I apologize for that. I apologize to you, because I know what it's like too. I mean, that was part of the reason, my radio past has been, it was difficult, because I know that feeling of coming into the studio one day and then they're like, oh, hey, we're going to have this other female co-host. And you're like, what? So I never want to make you feel that way. And I feel badly that I did that this week, because I have been in your shoes. And it sucks, because you're like, well, wait a second. I've worked really hard at this and I've really helped this, and nobody gives a fuck, So I'm really sorry.
And I accept that. I definitely accept that, and I'll say that I'm here to support you. I like the thing that we've had. It's been really great for me for as long as it has been. My ego is completely in check. I just like to communicate, and I like to be the first to know when it involves me or something that I'm doing, something that I've committed to. Because I told you on the phone earlier, look, chick, I have been here when we weren't getting paid and when we were getting paid. When I first started, it was like, okay, come every Wednesday. And I'm like, okay, well, who writes the checks? Who's in HR? Oh, there are no checks. There are no checks. Oh, we got to work on that.
Irene was in HR. She's moved to California.
Right. We got to get an accounting department. And that's one thing that I was like, okay, we're going to do that. And we did that together.
Right.
And so now we're here in this beautiful studio. I think you're primed for success. I think that the listeners that support us and love us, I really want you all to start telling your friends about this podcast. And we got to get you all really engaged and involved. We need to hear more from you.
Yeah.
We need to hear more from you on Twitter. We need to hear more from you on Facebook, on our Instagrams, because we're sharing our lives.
Right.
And we decided to have this conversation that we could have had, on the phone together. I said, it's important for me to include the listeners in this conversation, because we don't know everything. We're figuring this shit out as we go along.
Yes. Oh my God, it's so true. Yeah, you don't.
We're figuring this out as we go along. And so I will say that I am going to launch politics. I hadn't planned on doing it, to be honest. I hadn't planned on doing it right now, but I do feel that there are stories to tell. And I do feel like it's not the worst time for me to do it. But I also want to support you, but I want to let you fly as well.
Yeah. And that's what I appreciate the most about you, because most people don't have the I just think the self-confidence to say that, and that's how I've always felt about you too. And it's like, I've loved going to see like your book launch at Tyson's Corner and seeing like the, hundreds of people that were there for you and so excited about your book. And it's like, that's the way that it should be. So I am very grateful for that. And I always want to give that back to you. And I think politics is a great idea because, we've been talking about that on and off for a year. And actually, when you first joined this, remember, you were going to do politics.
Absolutely.
So I think now is a great time to do it because you do have a ton of, whether it's Vivica A. Fox or it's Omarosa, you have a lot of friends.
Well, yeah, and I do want to start with Omarosa, and I talked to her about it, and she's game for it because the story there that I think is important just in terms of friendships, because I've noticed, and you may know, we talk about this sometimes, it's like, gosh, well, who are your friends? And you're like, I don't know, do I have 3?
Yeah, I know.
2?
1, 2.
I'm not sure.
1, 2.
Right. So, you bet on someone, you love them, you're there for them 100%, and then something happens, something big, something cheesy with the comb over happens, and you're like, okay, that's too much. I didn't think anything could ever break us up. So, that's the story that we need to talk about. There are some things that I just feel like don't fit into the format of this show that I need to get out.
Right.
This is my therapy.
Right.
And so Hey Phrase has opened that up to me. But I feel like, hey, lead the ship and No, I want you to lead it.
No, I know you are. That was just funny when you said that. I'm like, okay. I'm like all of 5'3", so I just see myself putting on the big captain's hat.
You can do
trying
it.
To head to the helm, and it's like going to be really shaky.
Head to the helm.
The boat's going to probably be
head to the helm.
One side or rocking to the other side.
Listen, people, stand down your egos when you're involved in a partnership with someone. If they need to do something else, if they need to grow, and don't stand in the way of people's growth. I could have never have finished this book if anyone was really trying to stand in my way. It took a lot of people helping me, encouraging me to do that. I could, right now I'm writing a movie. The script is done. We're pitching that. We're selling that. We're pitching TV shows. So I'm not letting anything stop me from growing. I have been committed to this podcast and will continue to be committed to this podcast as long as it feels good. So we need to hear from you all.
Okay, great. Well, are you going to let us know when it feels bad?
Yeah, I'll let you know. I, on the other hand, don't have a communication issue.
Well, and here's the thing. You are always, and that's the thing, too, is like the goal is 5 days a week. Yeah. I want this show to just be rocking. I want it to be syndicated, multiple spots, all that good stuff. I always want you on it. And one of the things we've talked about and has been hard for both of us is we both live crazy lives that we have these projects, we have other projects that we're hustling. So the scheduling is hard, too. And one of the big things about being consistent with this podcast is like eventually in the next couple of weeks, it's setting a time like we're going live 12:30 and people are going to know we're live at 12:30 on Facebook. The podcast is up by 3 p.m. in the afternoon. People know what to expect. And honestly, that's been in this past year, because people were commenting on my Instagram, like, you don't seem like you know what you want and all this stuff.
And I saw that.
And I'm like, no, I do. It's just, it takes a while to mix the sauce of like what works. And I think for your schedule, for mine, Wednesdays are great, right?
Sure.
And then, of course, fantastic clients like that we have, like Mervis, like Waxing the City, like other ones. Of course, it makes sense for us to continue to partner and be at those, and your book sign, do all that stuff.
Yeah, and you have to try certain things. Like Hoda and Kathy Lee, they have the 10 o'clock hour on the Today Show.
Right.
They tried a live audience it lasted like 5 days.
Right.
It was taking away from the thing that they had together. So you try different things. It might seem a little wackadoo to some people that are watching or listening, but you're trying to make it better.
And it totally is. I think what people don't understand that are on our side of the table for media now is the wild, wild west.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is no more having a show debut and like your talk shows on TV and you do a press tour and you promote it and people watch.
Yeah.
I mean, why do people give a fuck? That's what you and I are saying behind the scenes all the time is like, why are new people going to tune in? What are you? Because ultimately, we share these personal moments. And this is great because people in work environments need to have these conversations.
Absolutely.
So much would be cured. I mean, I never would have left if I had these conversations with previous coworkers.
Sure.
I never would have left radio. I mean, it would have been great.
Kelly Ripa wouldn't be mad at Michael Strahan.
Right.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, all that stuff would be terrific. So anyway, we're
Wait a
looking
minute.
forward
Are you trying to wrap us up of us having our moment? It's because of shit like this that you have a job. Wait a minute. Look.
There, you guys need to give me your producer cam. You're telling us, and that's good. That's what we're gonna do because you know what? Sometimes is like Paul and I get into our own stories, and it's like awesome. You know, our loyal audience cares, but then the rest of the world is like, all right, you two,
Well, we're
move
moving
the fuck
forward,
on.
but the loyal audience deserved that conversation.
Right. I
So
agree.
the outcome is we're good.
Yes.
You're going to see a lot more of her every day, right?
That's the goal. We're doing Mondays, and then the goal is obviously we get Mondays figured out. Like you said, we're experimenting. We're trying some things.
Yeah.
We'll try those on Wednesday too, and then go really 4 days a week. And then I want to do a show on Friday that's a true X-rated because you know I'm
love
dirty.
it.
Like
You're so dirty.
I am really dirty, and I'm currently looking for. I've been in touch with a British sex doll company in London that is looking for people. They're paying people to have sex with robots.
Oh.
So I want them
I'm
to come
down.
here. And would you have sex with a robot? Would you have sex with a
How much
female
money?
robot?
How much?
I think they're willing to pay
They're not
like
gonna pay
10
me enough.
grand.
I
That's
don't know.
not enough.
Yeah, maybe.
$10,000?
You got to get me on the 27th or 28th of the month, right around the 1st. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it. Don't get me on the 6th. I feel real rich around the 6th.
Okay,
My money's
okay.
still good.
All right, for 10 grand, I totally want to do that robot, male or female. So anyway,
Okay.
I want to do a show basically where we can have sex live on the podcast.
Right. I'm booked on that day. But
All
anyway,
right.
I love you.
I love you
Let's
too.
keep this
Thank
thing
you.
moving.
Thanks
All
for
right.
being an awesome friend. All right, so we have a ton of stories to get to, including Paul, for you.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of, have you ever dated somebody who has herpes? Like, and they've
Well, I'll
told it
tell
to
you something. I met this guy in New York a long time ago. His name is Matt. He's lovely. Oh, so good looking. Just so charming. We had the best date of my life. We were in a cab on the way home, and we're heading uptown in New York City. And he says, "I got to tell you something." And I'm like, "Yeah, are we getting married or something?"
Yes.
You know, he's like, "I got the herpes." And I'm like, "The what?" And he's like, "The herpes." I said, "On your lip?" He says, "No, down there." I'm sorry, Sarah. I just couldn't.
You couldn't
I'm like,
push through?
driver, there's going to be 2 stops. He's like, oh, that quick? Okay.
Really?
So we could at least get to the house and talk
See,
about it.
I always thought if you had herpes, really you're all good, except for when you have an outbreak.
See, I didn't know enough about it.
Oh, so maybe, okay. Well, anyway, Usher has now filed for divorce for the second time from his wife after she reportedly could not, Grace Miguel is her name, she reportedly couldn't take any more of the allegations and ongoing lawsuits against the singer over his alleged infecting numerous women with herpes.
It's going to follow her forever, though.
What, do you think the story of...
It's going to be, like, tainted to the public.
Tamika Foster was his first wife, who I think Tamika Foster's gorgeous, and their kids are so cute. The couple eloped in 2005. This is Usher Raymond IV and Miguel, Grace Miguel, his wife, but are now separating. TMZ notes that the separation comes after 3 women accused Usher last year of giving them herpes, and it's unknown if that was a factor in the breakup, but inside sources are saying that, yeah, she couldn't take any more allegations.
So is it the cheating aspect or the herpes? Probably a
I
bit
don't
of
think
both.
he did. My understanding was that he didn't.
Oh, these women were
cheat.
before her.
I think they were before.
God, it's so crazy because if you're down with somebody, right? You're married to them, you're committed to them. Isn't it through richer or poorer in sickness and in health? And that includes a little itch.
That's a lot to ask.
So a lot to ask.
Well, the sickness part, I think it's
Yeah.
awful when people get sick, like they
Yeah.
get cancer, and then their significant others leave
Right.
them. Like,
But
I
a
think
herpes
that's crazy.
breakout is just too much for you?
I would stay with someone through herpes. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's fine. You know, to me, I mean, who doesn't have an STD these days? If you're single, I got a girlfriend that's had them all.
I don't think
chlamydia.
I have one.
She tells me chlamydia.
Does that go away?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She says it's just like a cold for your ovaries.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my-
Yeah, she says that
I learned so much on this
yeah.
podcast.
She's like,
Cold
oh
for your
yeah,
ovaries, huh?
yeah. It's
Okay.
just like
That's
your
not
cold
so
has,
bad.
yeah, your like ovaries and your fallopian tubes have some mucus in them. You
Ooh.
just like
You
take
get
a
the
little
sniffles.
pill. Yeah.
You,
Down
you
there.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It gets the sniffles.
What do you think about Tiffany Haddish and Brad Pitt getting together?
I don't see that happening.
You don't
That's
think
another
so?
one I heard didn't have a very big penis.
Really,
That's
Brad
always
Pitt?
been the news. And he's talked about it.
I
He's not
can't-
very well hung.
I can't wait to see this guy's manzillion on Thursday.
Yeah.
You don't think he's got? Actually, I could see that.
Yeah.
You're
nah.
probably that hot with an average sized
Yeah.
penis.
Yeah.
Tiffany Haddish says that she ran into Brad Pitt in the elevator post the Oscars, and Pitt said, in 1 year, if he's single and that she is single, we're going to do it.
Well,
So you know
why
what that
wait a
means.
year? He's going to wait and find something better. What about tonight? The night is young. I've got my white dress on that I've worn 3 times.
Haddish was just on Kelly Ripa, and she was telling that. I know. I don't know why the wait.
She tells so many stories about other celebrities, and apparently they're getting pissed off. You heard about Beyonce, right?
Yes.
She told the story about Jay-Z and Beyonce wanting the woman to step back.
Yeah, right. And then
apparently, yeah.
they
Beyonce's
wanted an
like, back
NDA,
up.
right? Something signed.
She's like, I'll sign it. I love her, though. But, you know, the thing about this dress, this Alexander McQueen dress, so not the dress she wore on the red carpet, but the one that she wore when she was presenting.
that she keeps wearing.
That she keeps wearing.
Right.
So she wore it to the girls' trip premiere. She wore it on Saturday Night Live. And then she wore it again presenting at the Oscars. And I get it that she's a comedian. She said she paid $4,000 for the dress. Okay, that's a lot of money. But a lot has changed in her life. And I think what would be really cool, not that I have any right to tell her what to do, but
tell her. Who cares?
well, I think it would be really cool to see that dress making its rounds with girls going to the prom or having special nights.
Good
like,
idea.
Use that dress, send it to somebody, have them send it back to you, and keep sending it around. Like enough is enough already. You know, 3 times.
Yeah, you've worn it.
is
That
enough
joke
wear.
is old. You know what I mean?
The joke is old.
The joke is done. Like, it was great on SNL when she came out and she was like, I paid $4,000 for this. I'm wearing it again. You're like, good for you, girl. You seem relatable and down to earth. And yeah, if you spend $4,000 on a dress, wear it again.
Sure.
But you've worn it enough.
You've wanted enough.
Pass it around.
Yeah.
I like that's a good theory.
Off with your dress.
O.J. Simpson, The Confessions, the Fox special is airing tonight. This is where O.J. Simpson is going to reportedly, or actually did an interview back when the book came out, If I Did It. Are you at all infatuated with the Nicole Brown Simpson and
Not
O.J.
anymore.
Simpson
I've
story?
moved on.
You're over it.
Mm-hmm.
Really? I wonder if people are going to tune into this or not.
Why is now a good time to bring that up? He's not really in the news. They just need people to hate black people some more. I mean, what is going on? What's
and actually,
happening?
I stand corrected. It airs this Sunday at 8 p.m. on Fox.
On Fox News Channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
On Fox, not Fox News, on Fox Entertainment. You like your local Fox, like Fox 5.
Oh, well, I'll take that back. What
Okay.
I said. I don't know what the people in programming do. I don't know.
OJ begins by saying how difficult it is for him to talk in a hypothetical situation, weird and somewhat incriminating. Then he talks about the murderer's friend, Charlie. And suddenly Simpson goes from talking in the hypothetical to first person. I. In other words, it sounds like he's talking about what he did. I think
Why now?
Because I think people are still infatuated with that story.
Okay.
Because I think that story had everything, right? It had race issues, it had money, it had fame, it had beauty, it's got kids, it's got car chase drama. It's got the first time that a famous celebrity their court trial was broadcasted live. It's got everything.
But
You know
we're
what I mean?
so divided as a country right now. We are so divided. And then every day, I mean, every tweet seems to divide us even more. I just feel like having that kind of show, starting that conversation again, is just even more divisive. So I don't see the point in doing that right now.
Well, they're
that's just
airing
me.
it. I know.
Okay.
And
Who's hosting it?
So this interview was done back in like the late 1990s when he put that book out. If I Did It.
Oh, but they don't have a person like narrating that, or
They might. I don't
Okay.
know who the new person is, but the interview will air with the original woman who interviewed Simpson. And then I think it was Fox that owned the rights to it then.
Okay.
They decided not to air it, that they weren't going to air it at that time because they felt like it wasn't appropriate, but now they feel like it is.
Well, like when I met Wendy Williams when Real Housewives of D.C. was coming out.
Yeah.
And I said, "Are you going to watch?" She said, "I'm going to be watching like this." That's how I'm going to watch. Basically, I'm not going to tell anybody I'm watching, but I'm going to be watching like this. Okay?
Oh, me too. I mean, I'll tune in.
I'll check
because
it out.
OJ Made in America on FX was like I was addicted.
Yeah.
Cuba Gooding Jr. as
he was
OJ.
great.
Oh my
He was
God.
fantastic.
Oh, it was so good to get the behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I know.
know.
I'm obsessed with stories like that. Ayahuasca. Paul, do you have any interest in doing ayahuasca, which is the trendy psychedelic? It's not. I guess you could call it a drug, but it's also like they put it in tea. It's a leaf that comes and a plant that comes from Brazil
No.
and Peru.
No, I don't. I saw Chelsea Handler do it on her show, Chelsea Takes On. And, you do it, you sweat, you throw up. I'm just like, okay, you could lose a couple of pounds, which is
That's enticing.
not the worst thing, right?
My friend Sammy really wants me to do it.
But it looks like you come close to death and you teeter around the brink of death and then you kind of get yourself back together.
Too much? They're saying ayahuasca could be the cure to depression. In monkeys in the Brazilian rainforest, they've been letting them munch on ayahuasca leaves or ayahuasca, the plant. These monkeys trip their balls off, and then suddenly they're like in a much better mood. A lot more research has to be done because they only did this on 15 marmosets that tripped on ayahuasca. All of them were isolated from their group, which also I think there's a lot to this story. Yeah. I would not recommend doing this, but the study is available by BioRex IV. There's no word on whether the tripping monkeys got any crazy ideas about, whatever, doing anything nuts or throwing up or crapping their pants, but they are saying that it could be one of the ways that they cure depression.
Wow. Tripping monkeys. Okay.
I really want to see that. Oh, my God. First of all, I love this picture.
Oh, my God. That's crazy. Wait, I should have put a picture up there of Evelyn.
Looks dead. Evelyn? Who's Evelyn?
Do you remember this story? Jennifer Lewis. You know the actress Jennifer Lewis. She's in Blackish. Did I tell you about this when I was at her house?
You did.
So I met Jennifer Lewis's house. She is a character actor. She is so much fun. She plays Anthony Anderson's mother on the hit ABC show Blackish. She's a good friend of mine. She has a book out called The Mother of Black Hollywood. I'm in her house in L.A. about 3 weeks ago. She's got a picture of a gorilla on her framed on her wall. And I'm like, who's the gorilla? And she says, oh, that's Evelyn. I said, Evelyn? Who's Evelyn? She was like, oh, Evelyn lives at the L.A. Zoo. I sponsor her. I'm like, you sponsor her? She was like, I said I sponsor her. I said, you sponsor her? She said, I buy that bitch's bananas. Now I get it. Now I understand. So she, I go to the L.A. Zoo. I visit her. I say, Evelyn. She blows me kisses. And one day I said to the zookeeper, big old dyke. I said, Melissa, let me go in and feed Evelyn. Just she knows it's me. She knows I take care of her. Let me go feed Evelyn. That big dyke said to me, sure, you can go and feed her if you want her to tear your fucking face off. And scene.
That was great.
Evelyn, right. Isn't that cool?
Oh, my God. We needed a picture of Evelyn. Now, whenever I think of a monkey, I'm going to think of that.
It's a story.
Oh, my God. She's great. She's hysterical.
Isn't she awesome?
Oh, my God, Paul. She really is fun.
I freaking love her.
She is like a riot. And she's such a great attitude about life. It's really funny.
Does. But I wanted to actually mention something else. We had talked a little bit about the Housewives. You know, there's a new season of The Real Housewives of Potomac coming out.
Oh, I know. I can't wait.
Did you see that?
Yeah. Well, I just saw it through you. You showed me the first picture. So it comes out on April 1st. And for those of you that don't know, I know most of those women. I helped them cast the original group. I brought on Karen and then Katie, who was on the first season. Right. And Karen's back. Ashley Darby's back.
Giselle is back. And Robin Dixon are back.
Okay.
Now, there's a new woman in town, and you can see in the picture that she's taking the place of Charisse Jordan.
Okay.
So Charisse, longtime friend of mine, we kind of had our ups and downs.
Yeah.
But I'll always love her. She's a very dear person and a dear friend. But it's got to be tough. It's got to be tough when you have made a contribution to these reality shows.
Right.
You've opened the doors to your home and your life. And in her case, her marriage was kind of on the rocks.
Yeah, big time on the rocks.
Was big time on the rocks. And I think it wasn't, to him, it was like, if you do that show, we're definitely done. And she did the show for whatever reason.
Right.
And so to make that kind of sacrifice and then find that they're going into season 3 and you're no longer a housewife, like, what do you think about that? Is the fame that alluring? What is it?
I think for Charisse, no, for me, I saw a woman who was, and I can relate to this. I think Charisse really wanted her own identity. I think her identity had been her husband.
Sure.
And his name, is it Eddie Jordan?
Eddie Jordan. Mm-hmm.
So Eddie Jordan, the famous basketball player. I think her life had been
basketball coach. Yeah, he was a player a long time ago, then a coach. He coached for the Wizards, coached for the 76ers.
And the couple of times I've interacted with Charisse, only through you, is I was surprised at how personal she took the show. Like, to me, I would think if I was cast on that show, you know what that drama is, right?
Sure.
You know you got to bring the drama. When the cameras are done, let's go have, a glass of champagne. It's all good. But if you don't keep the drama going, you're off the show.
Exactly.
That's like what it is.
Well,
but I felt like she couldn't separate it, but I also understand, I think she wanted to do it because it was like, all right, Eddie, I want my own life.
She wanted her own life.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, I did Watch What Happens Live. I was a bartender a few weeks ago, as you all know. I was up in New York, and backstage, I was talking to Andy Cohen, and he had asked, why do I think that the DC Housewives didn't work?
Right.
And I told him, on our show, when we did DC Housewives, that was back, it aired in 2010. So a lot of time has passed. I'm not living in the past. It's like over and done. But during the taping of that show, the women on the show made a pact. Like, they literally called a meeting and they said, look, we are making a pact not to talk about each other, not to say anything disparaging. And I'm like, okay, well, that's the end of that. and they
yeah, it is. How stupid. Why would they be so dumb? Like,
could you imagine?
You can be friends, but I'll tell you, it's hard at first. It's hard at first. And like, if you're not feeling self-confident, then you begin to go, where's the line? But that was the dumbest pact they made. Did you tell Andy that?
I told him. Yeah.
And what'd he say? So like, that's probably it?
Makes sense, Makes sense that that's what happened.
Because Mikkel Salahi was like the perfect
she
reality.
Wasn't a part of the pact. And I'm going to tell you, they kind of went on strike during the show, and I was at one of them's house, Linda's actually, and they were deciding on this strike. And I had, in that show, unlike a lot of the other ones, I did testimonials on that show.
Right.
So they would come to my house and get my feedback, and that's why I love doing that show, because I got to say what I was thinking from my perspective.
Right. Oh, my God, you'd be so good for that
Yeah,
show.
so that was great. But I remember they were making this pact, honey, and I was looking at my watch. They're like, where you going? I was like, oh, I got to shoot. They're like, but we're going on strike. I'm like, strike my ass. I got some hair products to release. I got some new eye creams.
Well, you were smart because that didn't work. Bad pact.
It didn't work.
You
Bad
gotta know
pact.
your role. I feel bad for Charisse, though, because I think she banked a lot on that show. But there wasn't enough good drama.
Well, I think that they feel that, the divorce is still pending. And she did that season 1. She did it season 2. And you're right. I mean, where is the drama?
I know.
Yeah. I used to tell the girls during DC Housewives, I'm like, nobody cares that your kids are in soccer. Who gives a fuck?
I know.
You ride a polo pony.
Unless you're sleeping with like
cares?
the soccer coach.
You
like,
fucking the horse.
Yeah. Are you fucking
no,
the
you
horse?
Fucking the horse.
Yeah,
now, that's a
something
storyline. You know what I'm saying? During that show, and I won't say who, one of them had a husband who was having an affair with a man. The man called her in the middle of the night. That never came out.
Oh.
There was drug abuse. There was threesomes. There was all sorts of big things going on.
That's
that
the
never
show.
came out because of the pact.
You got to be Kim Zolciak-Biermann.
Oh,
that
yes.
woman is a nut. Like, and
Everything
that is great
comes
for
out.
TV. I'm like, I can't wait. When's the next season of Don't Be Tardy?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel so bad for Croy. It's amazing.
Oh, my God.
The whole thing. All right. So I feel bad for people that have had plastic surgery, but a recent story now says this is a software engineer who came out and said that you're taking your selfies all wrong, which makes people's faces look distorted and is leading to more people having plastic surgery when they don't need to. Selfies don't work like mirrors. Instead, they completely distort, especially when it comes to the nose, according to new research by a medical journal. Selfies make your nose look wider and thicker than it actually is in real life. And people like a smaller nose. Now, researchers have looked specifically at selfies taken from 12 inches away, a common distance for someone snapping a selfie without the assistance of a selfie stick. In a selfie taken from that distance, men's noses are going to appear 30% wider, and women's noses are 29% wider.
What's wrong with the wide nose?
Well, I don't think there is anything. But
a wide nose can be beautiful.
I agree. But people look at themselves and they feel like, so basically they're saying, look, if you're only taking it here from 12 inches away, you need to be like 2.5 feet. So if these people who are getting the plastic surgery were taking a selfie stick, so that put it like 3 feet away, they would never be getting plastic surgery. This article is saying. Isn't that nuts? That's crazy. $15,000 is now the average nose job.
These people don't know what they look like outside of a selfie. That's scary to me.
I think it's just the pressures now of Instagram. It's like the pressure to have a new outfit on. I mean, honest to God, I look at my Instagram feed. I'm like, shit, people must think I am dead broke. I'm wearing the same trash bag every single thing. They're like, I can understand Tiffany Haddish. I'm like,
but
holy shit.
I'm going to say having a nose job is like Russian roulette. You never know what you're going to get. And there's so many popular people out there right now with botched nose jobs.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying?
Tons.
Like the nostrils are cut way down. They take off too much from the tip. One is always bigger than the other.
Well, here's the thing. They're saying 5 feet away is ideal, 3 to 5 feet away. And then look at this before and after. Okay, so this is a kid who took a selfie.
Okay.
Oh, my God. I'm so bad. I should have put this on our Facebook page. They're not going to have time to do it.
Okay.
The one where it's a smaller nose, that's from 5 feet away, a selfie stick. The other one is him like less than a foot away.
Oh.
Isn't that a huge
he
difference?
Looks much better.
5 feet away.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. If you guys are just joining us on Facebook Live, we're going to be having a discussion here in a few minutes about can men and should men, straight men, have female friends outside of their marriage and relationships. This one therapist says that it is essential and you should never hook up with a guy who doesn't have female friends. So leave a comment right now on the Facebook page because we're going to be reading those. Also, there was one other story that I wanted to get to.
Mm-hmm.
More and more people and I can't even believe this, but do you know the signs? You'd think it was obvious, right, for men, the signs that women want to have sex with them?
We'll set the scene. Have we been drinking? You know what I'm saying?
Always. We need more in our... Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Apparently, women have... apparently
That
men...
puts me in the mood.
Here are the 10 signs from real women that women want to sleep with men.
Mm-hmm.
Men are so clueless about if a woman really wants to have sex with them. They read the signs wrong all the time, okay?
But that's okay because the whole Me Too movement says, wait a minute, unless I say it's okay, that's when it's okay.
Oh,
so
right,
men
you
are
have to,
supposed to be reading
the...
signs. You can't have it both ways, ladies. No, you can't have it both ways, right? So I'm going to hear these signs.
Okay, well, these are supposed to be, this
Let's
is from
see.
lovedignity.com, and this is from real women. If she invites you to her place, if she invites you up to her place.
Problem.
Not you, the guy inviting her to your place. Like you're out on a date. Like I was trying to have sex with Dan on the first date. So it was like, hey, do you want to come upstairs? If the woman is asking you that is a green light that she wants to have sex with you in most cases.
Ooh, you're going to get it at sarah@heyphrase.com,
okay,
people.
honestly, who thinks if a woman is inviting a man back up to her place after a date, are you not going to have sex with him unless he...
Maybe her feet hurt. Okay. Jump
okay,
on.
what? AJ?
Paul, wishful thinking, Paul. You know she's going to, time to spread her legs, time to get up in there.
Okay, I love the honesty. So what does that mean for the Me Too movement? If you said that to somebody that was really involved in this Me Too movement, they would say, you are really saying some hurtful things to her women. Just because a woman wants to invite a man back to her house does not mean that she has to give up anything.
You're right. You know what? I would invite a man if I just wanted to have a couple drinks, and then he should wait for my invitation to say, let's take this party to the bedroom.
Do women like to do that? Let's get more into this list.
Okay.
Do they like to do that?
And here's my thing, by the way. All these guys that have been accused of rape and sexual harassment, right? The women have never invited them back to their place.
I don't believe that.
This is Harvey Weinstein saying, come to my hotel room. This is... Aziz Ansari back at his apartment, okay? When the chick is inviting you to her place, her territory, she wants to fuck you. 100%.
Okay. I don't think that a lot of people would agree with you, but I'd like to hear more.
Oh, and you can comment on our Facebook page. Mm-hmm. She wants to be touched, cuddled, and kissed. On a date, men often get aroused too quickly, but women don't even think about it. As stated earlier, they are complicated beings. They need a lot of time. So by the time she's at the phase where she wants to cuddle, hug, and kiss you, that's the time and a clear sign she wants to have sex with you. I'd agree with that. When I was out and single, I wasn't cuddling with anyone I didn't want to have sex with.
Sometimes I just want to cuddle.
I agree.
I really do.
She's sharing deep personal life stories with you. All right, this one might be iffy. Women only tend to share their personal life story and history with you only to gain confidence levels. This will happen time after showing interest in her. And it's one of the clear signs that she wants to sleep with you.
Okay.
How about this? She'll start sexting you. You know, a woman wants to have sex with you when she starts sexting you.
What does she say? What are you up to?
Apart from the usual, hey, what's up? How you doing? Okay. When women text that, they don't want to have sex with you. Hey, what are you doing? I'm getting bored. Or hey, I'm lonely and I want to meet you. Sexting is very sensual and part of a relationship. Erotic and sexual talking are clear signs that she wants to fuck.
Can women just say, I want to fuck? How about you? I mean, can you say that?
I would. I don't know what the...
Because
yes,
I feel like
do.
You would.
It's called #DTF.
So
okay.
Do you guys are all young women on the dating scene. AJ, Leslie, Jackie is here. She's one of our other interns. By the way, we're looking for new interns. You can email, what's your email address, AJ?
Email me, Andrea@heyfrage.com.
Okay, that's right. We need new interns. But do you guys think these are clear signs that women want to have sex or no? Unless she actually tells you, I want to have sex with you.
Yeah, we don't want to clearly just come out and say it. It's
See,
a little
there
bit
you
too
go.
obvious.
That's a problem.
But are these like actual signs, do you think?
I think so. Yeah, we're Leslie,
No
what
one
do you
was-
think?
Yeah, sure.
What do you really think?
No, I do think these are real signs. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it.
You wouldn't
Yes.
you wouldn't come out and say, "Hey, I want to have sex with you."
Right.
Well, neither would I. How about this? Okay, this one might be iffy. Breathing heavily.
Oh,
Did we
Jesus.
just go on a run?
She might be having an asthma attack. What is going on?
Yeah, they
She's
say
breathing heavy.
heavy breathing, heavy panting and
This
breathing.
goes against everything we've been hearing about. I hate to be right about this.
This one is something difficult to fake. If she's heavily breathing, it means she really is turned on. The more she shows interest in you, the more her heart rate starts rapidly increasing. I want to do you. Last one. She licks her lips time and again.
She could have dry lips. It's cold and flu season. What is going on with you all? I can't
I
believe
think
it.
these are clear
You gotta
signs.
you think they're clear
I
signs?
do.
I think you're going to hear it on
Harvey
your email.
Weinstein. No one was doing this to Harvey Weinstein. Okay, when a woman wants it, it's not like in the Me Too movement. We want to like dry up. I mean, we all still want to have sex. We just don't want the creepy guy, heavily breathing, who's disgusting, overweight, nasty, like Harvey
Right.
Weinstein, inviting us to his hotel room and then assaulting us.
Well, this guy in the locker room at the gym, because we have a lot of deep conversations. Okay, that's in the back of the back. Anyway, so I'm in the locker room chilling, and this guy is talking about the TV is on, and they're talking about the Me Too movement, and the guy was saying, well, women really want men to take control. They do. And then the other guy said that he's dated a lot of women that have had rape fantasies, and his friend was like, whoa, man, you can't say rape, and I agreed with him. And I said, well, what do you mean take control? And he says they never want to say, let's fuck. So
well, I think
that's what
women,
the guy said.
I feel like women should definitely start saying that. I think in this light
Let's
of
start
Me
that
Too.
movement.
Okay, great. Hashtag let's fuck. That should be like an. Is that you're like what? I would. I'd say I wanted to
I
get
love it.
down with Dan on the second date. I was like, "Are you coming upstairs or
You know
what?"
it was the first date.
I actually did not have sex with him on the first date, but I had gone to the date prepared to.
Okay.
I was like, I'm ready.
How do you prepare
'cause-
yourself? You went to Wax in the City?
No, like for years I used to play all these games. Like my girlfriends would be like, "Oh, you should wait till like the 5th or 6th date." And then I
Yeah.
had a girlfriend who was so smart, and she's like, "Look, if he's gonna leave you, he's gonna leave you whether you sleep with him after 10 minutes or 10 years. Like it's just
Ooh,
doesn't.
yeah.
If you're feeling it, have sex with him
Mhm.
after 15 minutes, whatever you want to do." So by that time, I'd just gone into the date with Dan, like, whatever, I don't care. Like if
Okay.
I'm gonna have sex with him, he's either gonna call me or not. And I have so many
And you
friends
did on
now.
the second date.
We were going to have sex on the second date, but then I had my period, so we waited till the 3rd, and he had to wait at a bar for me for like
Does
2
that matter
hours.
anymore, by the way? After
Yeah,
5 years?
men are weird about.
Oh, they're weird? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, it does.
I was just talking to my girlfriend about that too. He used to be so down for period sex. Now, not so much.
Okay.
Yeah, great. There's all these things that come along the longer you're together. At first, the men are all fun.
See, he just wants to cuddle.
They're
I
all,
told
yeah,
you.
exactly,
Nothing's wrong with a little
exactly.
cuddle.
All right, what do you think, Paul? So you basically said from the start, you think that men can have female friends and it's
I
totally
do.
fine. A female psychologist says that you need to be worried about your man if he does not have any female friends, that it's not mentally healthy. She also says that it's a sign that he probably can't get along well with women. And it also means that he's probably not a very emotional or deep. When men have female friends, she also uses Mike Pence, who's a fucking idiot. She argues that when he started that whole thing that he never eats alone with a woman, she says it's absolutely ridiculous, other than his wife. And the stance is far from confined to just Mike Pence, of course. Last year, a Morning Consult poll found that most Americans were very weary of male-female interactions, nearly 2/3 saying that workers should take extra caution around members of the opposite sex. I think that's crazy. Rebecca Solnit writes beautifully about the oppression of gender roles and describes the emotional wholeness that men often sacrifice to advance in the halls of power. She says that you should enforce and encourage your man to have female friendships, and you should also trust him. And she says that it's and no surprises, some men see women as either mothers or sex partners, but lots of times when they're friends with a woman, they see her more as a motherly figure.
Well, that makes me think, how do you raise a young boy, not to have any female friends? Can you imagine that young boy with no female friends is going to grow up to be fucked up? He's not going to know how to deal with women.
I know. Can you imagine? I think it's so. I don't know why. I mean, but then again, you told me, like I was saying, like Dan has this really close female friend that he sees like every
was
time she comes
joking.
into town.
Although I do know that some of these women have their eyes out for these guys. Like they want to take them from you.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, I do too, but I feel like that can happen like at any time.
That's
I
true.
think it's. I can't imagine being with someone that had no friends of the opposite sex.
What would be worse, Dan cheating on you with a woman or a man?
Oh, I don't care. I would just want to watch. I've said that. I'm like, if you're gonna cheat, call me. I can't wait to see this. I'm fascinated. Like, he's so monogamous and loyal. Like, I'm like, I want to see what you would look like having sex with someone else because you're awkward.
Get him some ayahuasca. He might do it. He might do it.
People are agreeing with this study, saying that, yes, it's fine. Carla's on here. She also says she wanted to comment about the sex story that we just did. Carla Gonzalez says, I like being upfront, and I used to let the guys know if my intentions were to have sex or not. I don't like the whole hinting around thing. Also, women also want to be wanted and chased a bit. The man has to demonstrate a sense of passionate aggression towards the woman. Really?
Passion? What? Passion and aggression?
Passion and aggression. Really?
Ooh.
That's kind of an interesting combo.
Evelyn!
Evelyn. All right, you guys, we love you. We want to see you tomorrow night at Waxing the City in Alexandria, 5 p.m. Margaritas, light bites, us.
So much fun.
So much going on. Share the podcast with someone that has never heard of us. Hopefully, what a day to tune in. And they'll see that we can communicate well with each other.
Exactly. And one other thing, on March 25th, for anybody that is a big fashionista, I am doing a conversation with Claire. So it's Claire Solmer. She is the head of Fashion Bomb Daily. They have millions of followers on Instagram.
Ooh,
She's
cool.
coming to DC, so get the tickets at cwcdmv.eventbrite. Just go to my Instagram, Paul Wharton Style, and check it out. It will be a fabulous conversation. Claire and I and DeAndre Tristan, who is Robin Roberts' stylist. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, super fun.
Here in D.C.
Go check that out. Thank you to everybody watching live. Carla, Sandy, Tom Block, Guillermo. Oh, my God, I'm probably killing that.
Guillermo? I don't know.
Guillermo. Oh, my God. Quishanta. Oh, my God. Okay, I'm not giving out any more shout-outs. All right, we're done. All right,
Listen,
bye,
great
everybody.
talk.
Thank you.
Communication is key. Love thy neighbor.
Love thy neighbor. Bye, everybody.
Bye, babe.
We go.
What's the phrase that you hear every day? Hey, phrase. What's the phrase that you hear every day? Hey, phrase. What's the phrase that you hear every day? Hey, phrase. What's the phrase that you hear? Tune in, yeah, you gotta tune in. Sarah Fraser on the mic and she about to begin. The co-host with the most, Paul Warren looking fleek. Take it from me, you should be listening. Live from the nation's cap,
We're this candlestick.
no need a second guess, separated from the rest. Entertaining nonetheless, many topics to address. Sarah, she's so glamorous, the #1 hostess.